3-Day Digital Declutter Guide with professional organizer Tara Bremer. Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are talking about digital decluttering. We have a ton of episodes on decluttering physical items, even just kitchen items or food items. But something I have personally been struggling with so much is my digital clutter. You should see the home screen.
I have.
Well, you have.
It does.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time this releases, it won't be, but it is a hot mess right now. There's maybe like 2 open spots for more screenshots of things.
Yeah. So if that's like you, this episode will be super helpful. You will learn why digital declutter can be almost as detrimental to our finances as physical clutter. We are going to talk about the top categories to declutter on your phone and how, and the streamlined processes that you can implement so that you only have to do this type of declutter once.
But first, this episode is brought to you by our spending planner. So it is our budget spreadsheet that is mobile optimized, that if you're beyond a paper budget, but you are not yet at the place of using an app, if you still are in a place where you need to manually input your transactions, we've created a mobile optimized budget spreadsheet called the spending planner. And we will put a link to that in the description below, as well as maybe a little discount. So you can check it out and see if it's right for you in this time of your life. So it's beautiful and we really like it. So let's talk about digital decluttering. We're going to learn from one of the best. I met Tara at a conference for moms a couple months ago, and she was so wonderful. I noticed sitting next to her that on her phone, she had a screen guard on it. So I couldn't see what was on her phone.
You couldn't peep at her. You were trying and it didn't work.
Right? And so I realized that she was the person to talk about digital things with. But she does all things decluttering. She's the CEO of House Peace, and they have been bringing peace into homes around the country since 2013. She holds a BA in psychology from Purdue, and she also has a master's in counseling from Moravian Theological Seminary. So she pulls all of that into how she declutters and creates house peace. And I hope that this 3-day guide really does help you as much as I think it's going to help me.
Let's get into it.
Tara, welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. We are delighted to have you.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here too.
This is a fun conversation. We typically talk about decluttering our physical spaces, and we know that there's a lot of psychological impact of physical clutter around us and the ways that that can impact our stress, our mental health, our emotional and relational health. But I'm curious to hear from you how you see digital clutter impacting our minds, our emotions.
Yeah, I do think a lot about digital decluttering. I actually even teach a class sometimes called iPhone Peace, where we go and scroll through pictures and delete things and optimize our phones to work a little bit harder for us. But I do see people having very cluttered phones, and their phones actually stress me out. When there's 1,000 notifications on, the screen, all the red badges. I'm super triggered by the red badges. So when I see someone's phone and they've got a bunch of those, I'm like, will you let me just deal with this?
I turned off the badges because I will tell you, I have 20,000 unread emails in my personal inbox. So I just don't want to see the badge.
So I never email Jen. If you want to get a hold of Jen, do not email her.
My business email inbox I'm on top of. I have no unread emails in there.
True.
But that comes at the expense of all of my personal things.
Right. And we have to choose the things that we're going to pay attention to. So yeah, why pay attention to those red badges if we don't have to? So yeah, mine are all turned off except for certain apps. Messages, obviously, phone, several others, but like that's clutter to me. If we're getting informed about things that we don't need to care about, that's just mental clutter for sure. And I'm particularly passionate about photos and videos and that kind of clutter because we can't we can't see it, right? We can't see a pile of photos in the way that we see a pile of laundry or whatever. So it's easy to forget about it. But then all of a sudden we're taking like 10 of the same pictures and then we never go back and delete. And that's fine. Like the search functions have gotten really good on phones and even in Amazon Photos, you could search for an orange hat and that is helpful. But I look at it from a little bit of a different perspective, which is like after I'm gone and this is my kid's life, I would like it to be a curation of what really mattered to us as a family, what things that we did. It doesn't need to be the picture of my meal that I had last month that was pretty. I mean, I guess you can. Everybody's got their own preferences, but I like when you've got 20,000 pictures on your phone, I I think that that is unmanageable.
Yeah.
I don't know. How many pictures do y'all have on your phones?
I couldn't even tell you
Couldn't
because
tell
I
ya.
paid for a ton of storage, but I can resonate with what you're saying. First of all, in how I take pictures, I don't know if this is a generational thing, if it's one of those things that they're going to make fun of millennials for, but when I take a picture, I will take like three. And so then I've got,
At
and
least.
maybe more than that,
Yeah.
a bunch of essentially duplicates that I think I'm going to go back and pick my favorite one. I rarely do. And then interspersed with that is like a picture of where I parked, a screenshot of a recipe, a screenshot of a flight that I booked that I haven't gotten the confirmation email for yet. So I want to make sure that I still have the number saved
Yeah.
somewhere. And like you see, you're scrolling through and it's like, oh, yeah, that's a cute memory. And then there's my parking spot apparently from a month
Right.
ago.
And maybe I would say few people might find value in that, like looking back, like, oh, right, I am going through perimenopause and I was having to screenshot all these things or whatever to help me remember. But to me, it's unnecessary and it just gets in the way. Like, I'll equate it to like, I have memory boxes for each of my kids, and it's primarily schoolwork. So, I don't know how much schoolwork y'all save for your kids, but you've got the handprint stuff, you've got the fill in the blank. My mom is 48 years old and she's 2 foot tall, or whatever. Those
Yes.
are also cute. Um,
I love that
but
one.
like my typical client in my job, like my in-home organizing business, they keep so much of this. It's so much, too much. And so not that there's anything wrong with any of it. It's just how's a person going to make sense of their childhood? Do they even care? So I like to do these little memory boxes. They're 12 by 12s. They're from Hobby Lobby. And my goal is to graduate the kids with 3 of those boxes. And it's got handwriting samples. It's got self portraits. It's got, a few Boy Scout things or whatever. And it just becomes so deeply meaningful. Each of the thing, it's such a curation that it's a little more precious. So what I like to do, say with screenshots, are y'all both iPhone users?
Hmm.
I like to, and I'm sure Android is similar, but I like to open my camera roll and go to media types and click on screenshots. And so much of this it's reminders is basically what it is. And if those reminders are done, then I'm going to select them and just delete fully. Obviously, if it's a recipe or something, maybe I'll go ahead and print it out because I'm not going to follow a recipe on my phone. It's just I'm not going to remember it, whatever. So I do like doing some wholesale kind of deleting. Um, Even for example, like I take a lot of time lapse videos, and some of them are for work.
Hmm.
Most of them are for work, and I don't need to keep all those. So at some point, I'll delete all those, um, or most of them. But it's easier to do it by category sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
What are some of the actual costs of some of this digital clutter?
Well, when it comes to pictures and stuff, well, just your iPhone, if you're paying $10 a month, I'm paying 99 cents a month, I think, for extra storage. And part of that is because of my work, taking before and after pictures of people's stuff. And also, it counts for my whole family, I think, or maybe just me and my kids. So I don't mind paying for that a little bit. But yes, once we start getting subscriptions, then that is a cost. I mean, $1 a month is nothing, but um, I think also the cost is time, not being able to find what you need, and then, like, I don't know. I we carry apps that we don't use anymore. Maybe you have subscriptions you don't use anymore, and we've forgotten. Have y'all? I'm sure you guys have talked about this, like going to your subscriptions and like looking in your
Mhm.
settings. Do y'all
Hmm.
ever talk about that on the show?
Yes.
Um,
And it's
yeah,
not something that I think about often with apps, is that you actually have to go into the app store for those
Yeah.
subscriptions. It's not always something you can do online. And so I often forget about that. And that's why I feel like this episode is mostly for me,
Mm.
because I've got my 20,000 emails, I've got my 20,000 probably pictures. Also, every time I open up my laptop, I get a notification that my iCloud storage has maxed out and that I need to pay for more.
Mhm.
And I just don't. And so ultimately, I need you to help me
let's go.
in this
Let's
episode.
talk about you. Okay.
Okay.
This is you and me, baby. You tell me
So
exactly what you want and we're gonna figure it out together.
if I could have, okay, if I was going to take 3 days and like totally digitally declutter my life, what, how would you suggest that I go about this?
Well, first, I would take the thing that makes you the maddest or the most stressed. So, is it the 20,000 emails? Is it the 20,000 photos? Is it what it like for you? What do you want to declutter first? What makes you the most irritated?
Probably the emails, because I do have to check those periodically. My photos, I'm not in as much.
Okay.
And she misses out on stuff. Like there's
I
invites
do.
to things and she's like, "I would have gone to that. I didn't check my email." So that's the cost
Or I
for
did
you.
and I just didn't see it. So yeah.
Man, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so I think that you firstly need to go unsubscribe from some stuff, probably, right? Do you
Hmm.
get newsletters you don't read?
I definitely do. I also have unroll.me, but I
Yes.
don't feel like it gets everything for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, unsubscribing. Is there a bulk way to do any of this?
Well, what I to unsubscribe,
Hmm.
other than Unroll Me, I'm not aware of it. But what I'll do is when I check my email every day, when I get it, I just do it as I go. Like that, I don't. To me, that's a maintenance thing because we do end up on people's mailing lists or whatever. So I think that just doing that as you go is good. What I would rather do, like if you were sitting down and doing stuff for a while, is come like do a search term. So like I'm going to do this in 2 days. My kid's last day of school is tomorrow. I'm going to put in Helena High School in the search, and every email that comes up that has Helena High School in it, I'm going to check all, delete. I don't need them
Mm.
anymore. So I like doing mass deletions like that, and that will be probably hundreds. Um, and I will do that with Amazon. Actually, I have all of my Amazon emails filtered out. Do you guys filter out any of your emails?
I do that sometimes, but not on like a consistent, like bulk basis for like particular retailer.
I would, if you shop a lot on Amazon or really wherever you shop a lot and you get your receipts or whatever, you don't really need to look at those unless you have a problem. So if you use Gmail, there's a function, and of course, it's going to be true for any email service. You can have things skip the inbox and go to its own mysterious folder somewhere. So like I never see an email from Amazon and that's fine by me. If there's ever a problem, they're there and I can just search Amazon and find it. Or I can get in the app and whatever I need to know is just right there as far as purchase history or whatever.
Yeah,
But that
that's
way you're just automatically our mental load is so big. And if we can not pay attention to certain things, that will only serve us well. You know,
Mhm.
I don't need to pay attention to Amazon emails.
Mhm.
So you can also do the bulk delete that way too. Um, I'm typically trying to get to inbox zero every Friday, but what that means for me is not truly inbox zero, it's zero unread. So if there's something important that has come through my email, I know I want to come back to it, I have to mark it unread. And that way it will stay at the forefront of my attention. But at the end of the school year, I will probably get my inbox down to like 100 or something.
Ooh. Yeah, I keep my work inbox at 50.
Okay.
So I'm good about that. But yeah, it's just something about my personal I don't value my personal life as much as my work life, seemingly.
What's your Enneagram type?
8.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. Um, okay, so email so to filter out emails, correct me if I'm wrong, it is you'll take the email and then you'll like select filter messages like this and then
Something, yes, I haven't done it in a little while, but yes, something like that.
and
And or it'll say filter anything from Amazon. There's all
mhm,
kinds of different things you can select.
yeah. And then I create like a folder or something that just shows on the side and then they go in there. I joined the SNL lottery to get tickets to Saturday Night Live and I didn't
Mm.
want to miss that. And so I created a filter for anything that says like SNL or Saturday Night Live
Mhm.
to go into this special folder so I would know like if I see an unread there that
Oh
I got
yeah,
an
that's so
email
smart.
and I
Yeah.
didn't get an email because it's very hard to get the SNL lottery. But that was one thing that was important enough for me
Obviously.
to
Oh my
do.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so helpful, I think, just to know about the different tools and resources that exist. I think that's always part of the barrier of just, I didn't know I could use that functionality, click that button, use filters in this way, and how much more approachable it then becomes to maintain. But of course, we're kind of talking about this initial declutter, which is usually the biggest effort up front, and
Right.
then we can
Yes.
talk
Then we can
maintenance
maintain.
strategies. But you've described kind of starting with the thing we hate the most, then refining, filtering, unsubscribing. Are there any other big steps in this kind of overhaul of a digital clutter?
Um, well, this is related to email again. I'll tell you a story. I had a client in home organizing, not digital decluttering. She deleted every email in her inbox. She didn't care. She was like, select everything, goodbye. And the
That's
reason
brave.
I
Mhm.
know the way I found out about it, she actually wasn't my client. She was one of my other organizers' clients. And I texted my organizer. I was like, "Hey, so and so hasn't paid their invoice. Do you know if she mailed the check or why? You know what's going on?" And she was like, "Did you email her the invoice?" I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, she decided to delete her whole inbox, and she figured that if anybody really needed something, they would reach out." And I was like, "And here it is. I did. I needed to get paid. We needed to get paid." So, if that's appealing to you, if you feel like you can handle that, do it. I don't know. Who cares? I mean, I
Ooh.
care a little bit for like litigious reasons because I'm a business owner and like I want to have documentation for things, but maybe in the personal email, maybe it doesn't matter as much.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like I'm thinking about my own circumstances, and I agree. There have been times where I've needed to look back of, oh, I need that document. I know it's in my email somewhere, and I'm so glad that I found it. But part of that is because I never had a system set up in the first place where I put that important document. I kind of just said, well, it's in my email. If I ever need to find it, it's there. But
We'll
then
search
that's
for
what
it.
keeps me from being able to really do a full clear out. So I'm curious, do you have any tips on, as you're decluttering, how to set up those good organization pieces that would then allow us for some of this maintenance?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely putting labels on emails. Um, I have some emails labeled adoption. My daughter came home from China in 2013. And so we've got some pretty precious emails related to her adoption. And so those are labeled adoption in their own folder. Those are never going to get deleted, even if the word Amazon was in there, which it's not.
Mhm.
But so I think start with the mass unsubscribing with keywords like high school, Amazon, whatever. And then you're going to keep your inbox is going to go down, 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 down. And you're going to get into some of the finer ones where you can start unsubscribing more and then making those rules, those filter rules to get stuff out of the regular inbox and saved,
Mhm.
set aside.
Okay. So if emails are day one, pictures are probably day two.
Okay.
I know you mentioned some tips already with someone with 20,000 pictures. What are the steps we do to get down to just the curated essentials?
I prefer to use an app that slightly gamifies deleting pictures. The one that I prefer is very simple. It's called Tidy Gallery.
Mm.
It's free for 7 days or something. And then after that, it's like $2 a month. I pay for it because it's so helpful. So it's swipe left to delete, swipe right to keep. Kind of like a dating app. It's Tinder for
Oh,
your pictures.
I
Goodbye
love
and
So
keep.
for all of our married folks, this is how you can live vicariously.
that is the
Goodbye.
last way I want to live vicariously uh, for a single
You at
person.
least can
So many other
understand
things.
swiping right and left.
Yeah, there are so many other things I would rather live vicariously
I
through.
know it sounds
I mean,
miserable.
yeah, we should think of that list, Jen. Um, so yeah, I like that. And it'll also tell you how much you've decluttered. I'm gonna just pull it up and show y'all um, how much you've decluttered since day one. So since day one, I have decluttered 368 gigabytes.
Ooh.
And like today it's
Wow.
at
Oh, look, and it
zero.
tells you good job.
It
Keep it
does tell me
clean.
good job. I
I
know.
like that.
Um,
That's what I say to
so
people who
like
come on our podcast.
So I took some screenshots of something from Facebook to send to my husband. I can delete that. I took some mushrooms to, I didn't take mushrooms. I took a picture of mushrooms to,
There's
I heard what I heard.
there's the clip.
I said what I said. Yeah, to identify them from a friend's flower pot. So goodbye. I also texted my children some things. I want to keep that because that's funny. I'm going to swipe right. Then who knows what this is? Swipe left. So then I'm going to X all that out and it'll say, do you want to let me delete? And I'm like, yes, I do. And it tells me, good job. You cleaned 5.2 megabytes. There's other similar apps. This is just the one that I like. It's just very clean and simple. So that's great. And you can get through a couple thousand photos in an hour, like
Mm.
if you wanted to. Um, I think moving forward, it's easy to like pull it up once a month or when you're in a doctor's office or have a habit or like on a plane. If you don't have internet, that's like something you don't need the internet for. You can just keep maintaining. So I think to get through 20,000 pictures, it sounds impossible, but it's really not. Like I also sometimes host a free Zoom. Maybe I need to do one with you guys. This would be fun. Called Eat and Delete. Sometimes it used to be we would meet at a restaurant. That was, I guess, pre-COVID, and so it would be local people, and we'd all bring our phones. And the rules of the game are: we're eating, we're having fun, we're talking, but we're deleting pictures the whole time. So everybody's got their phones out. We've all got permission to have phones out at the dinner table, and there's a prize for whoever deletes the most photos and video. And you can only share a cute or funny or interesting picture twice.
Oh, that's a good that came up for me. I was like, how often are we getting distracted?
Like, oh,
Sharing.
look at my
It's a great
toddler. Yeah.
rule.
Yeah. So like if you saw something really worthwhile sharing and you're like, hey, and then like that's your one when you show your neighbor.
I
gosh.
love this. We love gamifying things.
This
We
is
love
a
making it fun.
great
Uh-huh.
gathering for friends. Like
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
this should be done in person more. Just
Oh, for
between
sure.
friend groups. What a great idea.
Okay. Okay. So if that's day 2, what's day 3? I've got a couple of ideas, but you tell me based off of your experience. Are we talking like, are we clearing up apps? Are we figuring out all of our digital folders? Like, what do you
Yes.
think day 3 is?
Day 3, I would say, is streamlining and minimalizing. There's a book by Cal Newport called Digital Minimalism. And not all of us are digital minimalists, but
Mhm.
I strive to be. That's why my screen is black. I have
You
no,
have okay, when we met, I noticed that you had this, screen well, I didn't notice, somebody pointed it out and asked, like, how you like your screen like, privacy screen on your phone, and I didn't
yeah,
know those existed, but it's
yes.
so that people next to you can't, like, look over and see what's on your screen.
Right. This is like my greatest life hack for like kids or public transportation. So here you could see this, and if I turn it a little bit, you can't see it anymore. So
Right.
no one can look over my shoulder. I'm always shocked. Like if I'm in New York City on the subway, I'm like, how do you guys? I'm reading your text. I'm doing it. I'm looking over their shoulders
I
and reading
know.
it.
I'm a
You
little
know,
nosy Nancy too.
but, like, my phone is mine, and I know a lot of people, including myself, when our kids are little, we pass them the phone and let them play stuff, and so it's kind of a bad habit. I talk about really personal things on my phone, like, with clients, like, people are texting pictures of their most embarrassing, spaces in their homes or, I've got people talking about marital problems and, just it's not for anybody, it's for me. So yeah, I have a privacy screen and I just found out about the matte screens. Like this one's matte is so it's you don't see all the as much of the, like fingerprints and stuff on it. Um but wait, where were we before that? Oh, day 3. Oh, digital minimalism. So like even my background, like I don't have a pretty picture. It's just clean and simple. I believe it is Cal Newport who says when we make things so pretty and um, lovely, we're adding to the addiction problem. Like,
Mm.
oh, when I look at my phone, I see this picture I love, and now I'm having some kind of feelings about my phone. I mean,
I
I
do
do love
that.
my
I
phone,
do
but
that. I have our family's Easter picture on my phone, and
I
I
mean,
will pick
do
it
what you
up.
want to do. Like, if it's not a problem for you, then just keep it.
I think it
But
is a
like,
problem, though.
um, I like to keep just the apps I use all the time on the front page. So you'll see I've got like a budgeting app, thanks to Jen who suggested that to me. Instagram, New York Times Games, my Aura Ring, Marco Polo. After that, everything is in folders. So I've got folders for travel, for food, stores, photography, things like that, house piece stuff like QuickBooks. Um, and that way I can quickly find what I need and it's just on 2 pages. I think, yeah. And then there's the, what do you call that thing? The app library, which you can't really get rid of. But yes, I say delete apps that you don't use. Who was I talking to the other day? Probably my brother. One of my brothers is a cybersecurity guy, forensic stuff. And he pointed out that there's experts out there who are like, you're offering so much to these app developers for free. And if you are not using the app that much, then what is the point? Like I literally had Domino's on here. I'm like, how often do I get Domino's? Twice a year? Like I don't need that app on there. I can get on Safari. I can call. God forbid I call and order a pizza. But like, especially with Google, he's all the tech people have a chip on their shoulder about Google, which I also
Mhm.
do by
Mhm.
osmosis. But but yet I use it. But like, why do we have Google Slides on my phone? I don't need that. That's just more access to things that it doesn't need to have it. So from a privacy standpoint, delete all that and it makes your phone cleaner. So yeah, definitely categorizing things.
Mhm.
Nice. Anything other than apps? Like, what about my laptop? What should I be doing on my laptop?
Yeah, I have been very much focused on the phone here. Um,
But that's good. I think that's where we spend
mhm.
most of our time on technology.
Yeah, I think with your computer, like what do you find is cluttery about your computer?
My entire desktop is filled with things. Like if I
Like
like
the icons?
like I can show Jill right now. I'll just like show her.
Mhm.
Like
Ah!
yeah. There is not an open space left for something on my
Okay, I'm gonna
home
take a
screen.
screenshot of my screen, and I'm gonna text it to you right now, Jen.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I won't be able to see it because we're using my phone as a second
oh,
camera.
shoot. Okay, got it. Well, I'm still sending it to you anyway. Um, so I like to do folders. There are a few standalone items on my desktop, a couple screenshots that like now I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can delete that. So I'm dragging it to the trash right this very second. Um, oh, this is how I do my phone. Like I've got a screenshot of an email and I really need to take care of this issue. So I'm going to leave that on there because my goal is to just have the 3 folders and that's it.
3 folders on your desktop, like on
Yes.
your
Now,
home.
correct.
Ooh.
But like
I think I have that. I'm
What
due
would the
for a
3
cleanup,
folders
but
be?
yeah.
my 3 folders are house peace, my business, family, and house therapy, which is my TV show pitch that I'm working on. So I like to keep all those documents right there. So like obviously within family, I've got you know a folder for our Airbnb that I run and family paper documents, family photos, etc. So there's folders within folders. I just don't need all that on the forefront. These are things I
Mhm.
can dig for because it takes half a second, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, setting up a good system that makes sense to you is so important. And I think that this is leading into some of those maintenance pieces. Like once somebody has gone through this kind of 3-day digital declutter, what would you say are the most important habits, routines, processes in order to make this sustainable long term?
I think if you establish some rules for yourself, that can be really helpful. So, for example, my rule on the desktop is 3 folder icons. That's the goal. And it's okay if it's not perfect all the time, but I'm not going to have, you know, a screen full. That's just my rule. And my rule is once I start getting to about 2 or 3 thousand photos on my phone, I'm gonna quickly cull and then I'm gonna upload the keeps, the curated to Amazon Photos, and then delete them off my phone. And so, like, just whatever your rules are, write them down. We're all forgetful people. We are humans, and we can't keep everything the forefront of our brain. So write down what your little rules are, stick it on the computer, and then you're reminded of what you've decided for yourself as far
Mm,
as maintaining.
mhm.
Are there any other apps that gamify organization or help with organization, kinda like Tidy Gallery?
There are some other ones, and I don't know what they're called. There was one that was recommended by a digital like organizer, like digital photo organizer. She loved it, but I didn't. It had too many categories. It wasn't keep and go. It was like keep for a while, something else, and I was like, no, 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 no. I didn't want to. I'm too efficient for that. Like that just
Mhm,
felt like a waste of time. So, but
mhm.
it's easy to find. You could just do a little search, photo decluttering.
Mm. Do you know what I make as a rule for myself that I keep in every episode of this podcast?
And that we are usually 6 months behind on, but we do always get to every single one.
The
Oh.
bill of the week.
Tara, every week we
Yay.
yell
That's
at our guests and our listeners to share with us their bill for the week, and we would love to hear yours.
well, I'm going to go with the first thing that comes to my mind, which is I had to pay about $4,000 in dollars, actual money,
$8.
to to have some land worked on, and it hurt me very much to send that money, but it required grading the land, bringing in topsoil, bringing in seed, bringing in hay. It was like a whole thing. That's just what it costs, and it made me sad. So that's
Mm,
my bill of the week.
sometimes bills of
For
the week
land.
make us sad. Sometimes it's money we didn't want to pay. But did you have the money? Were you able to spend that money?
Don't tell
I
us if you
did.
stole it.
No, I didn't steal it, and I didn't have to take from retirement. We had the money, but it just hurt my stomach
Yeah.
to do it.
We
And it was
just had to
needed.
do windows, and that was obnoxious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because
We
it's not
just had to
like
do a roof, and that was not fun either.
yeah. It's not like
Mhm.
it's sexy or fun, like,
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
a makeover. I don't know.
yeah. But they tell us that owning things is so cool, but they don't tell us that owning things means you got to spend $4,000 to grade your land.
Yep.
Yeah. It's cool, but it's also not the American dream. So,
Well, how does it look? Does it look good? Does it look graded?
It's sprouting up. The grass is sprouting up, but we've had a
Good.
lot of rain here in Alabama, so there's some spots that have to be redone. He's like, "I won't charge you for the labor, but I have to charge you materials and the rental of the thing." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." But it'll look good. I mean, it's an
Mhm.
Airbnb. It's, it's a lovely place to host and whatever. So ultimately it will be worth it, but
Yeah,
it just hurt,
we
and
feel
you don't
you.
even really get to enjoy it on a day-to-day basis. That
right?
was our windows were in our rental. So I don't get to see those.
Yeah, that's
Mhm,
annoying.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, well, if you're listening, if you have a bill that you did not enjoy paying and you just want to call and commiserate with us, we are here for that. If you've got a bill that you actually loved paying and you didn't have to steal the money, you know what to do. frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. Leave it for us. We can't wait. Okay. Number one takeaway is eat and delete. Love that idea. Oh, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, so genius. Like I often think I need to get rid of all of this stuff on my phone, but when do I ever want to do that? Sometimes I'll do it when I'm sitting on a plane, but if I'm being honest, when I'm on a plane, I just want to watch a movie. I just want to sit, eat my pretzel snack and watch a movie. I don't want to be sitting there deleting photos. So it just never
Yeah.
happens. But getting together with friends and doing that, and then the rule that you can only tell two stories from your pictures, it's so perfect. It's boundaried,
Yes.
it's fun, it's
Oh,
productive, and I need an eat and delete.
I do love that idea. And I also it just made me think like in my downtime, I just mindlessly consume. And
Mhm,
I could just be mindlessly deleting too.
mhm,
So
mhm,
same habit of picking up my phone, but could be healthier. But yeah, I love the community aspect of it. That's one of the things I love about
mhm,
Tara. She's not just like decluttering for decluttering's sake, but like also what's most important. These things
mhm,
are on our computers, on our devices, because they hold some importance, and their importance is usually people related.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, so fun. Well, thank you all for being here, for listening, for watching. If you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If you are just listening to us on a podcast, go to YouTube and subscribe to us. Thank
You
you.
won't be able to see what I just did because you're on the podcast, not on the YouTube.
She did do
Oh
something
my
super
gosh.
secret and mysterious. You can only watch it on YouTube. And thank you for those of you who are reading our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke, and leaving us kind reviews like this one from Maddie Hanson, 5 stars. I loved this book. I
Woo.
got to know the authors through listening to their podcast. This book is a great compacted version of some of their best tips and more. It has a great vibe and shares stories of the authors and fellow readers, which makes me feel like I'm not alone in my money struggles. No, you're not, Maddie. You're not alone. You've got friends and you've got community and you've got a book that you just read and reviewed. So thank you. If you have read the book, please review it.
Yeah, if you haven't, head to buywhatyoulovebook.com, get yourself a copy. You can also find out how to request it at your library if it's not already there. And if you've read it, please leave a review. And if you liked this video, like this podcast, please leave a rating and review on Spotify or comment on YouTube. It really does help us.
Thank you. See you next time.